Hello, it's Tuesday today and another update. Basically, just what I was going through today and any questions that you guys had. And the first thing that I want to do is do the brand stats, which is kind of daily routine at this point. Just something to, you know, keep me updated and keep you guys updated. And I think when I look at the main channel, there was no change today. We're still at 300 and 203 subscribers, yes, but when I look at the daily updates channel, there actually has been a change. So right now we have 3 subscribers when it comes to the daily update channel. So you know that's something that's some growth. And when I look at the analytics, the views are also going up. There's 15 views so far. Obviously, that's way less than the views on the main channel, right? In here, there's like 2.4 thousand views this month, but slowly growing day by day. And I feel like this has a potential also not only from the perspective of building a personal brand, which is definitely one of the aspects why I'm doing this, but also from the perspective of just documenting my life because I started doing business three and a half years ago. Well, if you count all the other projects before, it's probably like 6 7 years ago. But when it comes to things that were actually able to make some money, then it would be around 3.5 years ago. And in that time, I did quite a big progress, right? But I don't have any documentation of it. So I have some memories, I have some bits here and there, but right now I just see the result of the journey. I don't necessarily see the journey. And I'm still very young, and I still hopefully I'm just in the start of my journey. So I feel like it's a good idea to kind of document it, so I have something to look at one day and I can really see the progress and where life has been taking me. Also see the differences in my thinking, kind of development when it comes to this, etc. So yeah, just to kind of clear this up. And of course, the concept of this channel that I kind of want to focus on is, first of all, go through my daily updates, my brand stats, and really, what I'm working on, what I'm building. And secondly, answer your questions and help you with automations or anything else that you're kind of struggling with business wise, if I'm able to help you and have enough expertise in that area. So please, if you have any questions, just leave them down below. And I'm not sure where the camera is right now, so hopefully I'm pointing somewhere in the comments. You can see my hand. And yeah, I'll be happy to go over them tomorrow, answer, give you any advice when it comes to automation or anything else, really. Now, after doing the brand stats, what I was working on today mainly was on a new lead magnet. So basically, what I want to build out for Leadbind, which is my automation agency, is a lead magnet that's very detailed and that can kind of show the incoming leads, the expertise that I have, and the kind of structure that, or like, let me go to the reason why I want to build it out again, right? So as of right now, the YouTube channel serves mainly, as I mentioned, as a place for me to document things. And also, I'm in the investing stage, so I'm just not promoting anything really on my YouTube channel, and I'm just trying to give as much value as possible and just kind of build up my brand and my following of hopefully like-minded people who are curious about what I have to say. That being said, for the future, it can also be a very interesting source of income, I guess, and source of leads, the top of the funnel coming to me and to my agency. And even now, without any promoting, and as you've seen in the brand stats, very, very few followers, I actually have people reaching out to me regularly, asking me about what I'm doing and about my services, and you know, closing some deals out of that with just 200 subscribers, really. And in the future, at some point, maybe in a year, maybe in the 2 years, who knows? But at some point, as the channel grows, hopefully, the kind of value of it, or the possibilities to monetize, will increase. And at some point, probably it will be a good idea to kind of funnel the people from my YouTube channel to my agents. And obviously, that won't be everyone. There will always be the target group of the people that just want to do the things themselves and who just want to learn from me. And that's absolutely fine, to be honest. I've also been there, and a lot of small businesses are like that. And I absolutely respect that, and I'm happy to help you guys. But then there is also the group of people who are running bigger businesses who don't really have the time to implement it. So they like the idea, and they like the possibilities of the automations, but they will not implement it on their own because they have other more important, more I guess higher ROI tasks, even though automation is very high ROI. But if you count up all the time you need to invest into it, to learn it, to really know what you're doing, well, people who are running businesses doing 10, 15, 50, 100, $200,000 a month, they don't really have time to do that. So that's where I come in, and it's also the kind of clients that contact me naturally now. But in the future, I would want to kind of nurture them. So I'm creating the lead magnet to have as a something to let people know what I can do, and also give them information how to do the automation processes, and also to really kind of collect emails, start building up my list, and work with those people in the future. Now that's the inbound, but I really believe that it's also valuable for outbound and of course paid ads. Right now for Leadbind, I'm not doing any paid ads. I'm doing paid ads for for the other company, for the education agency, even though even for that it's actually not the main source of traffic. In there it's at this point mainly partnerships and word of mouth, even though it was ads in the beginning, but now kind of the word of mouth is filling the whole capacity. But at some point for Leadbind, it will probably definitely. I believe it will definitely make sense to run ads, or at least I will get to a point where trying it on enough of a scale will make sense. And I really believe that I will get a decent result out of it if I have everything optimized. So obviously for that you need some lead magnet. But the most kind of the earliest implementation that I believe I can use this in is cold outreach. Because for most of the people, receiving a cold email and cold outreach is something that's either very negative or neutral, right? But I believe it doesn't need to be this way. And apart from just sending people cold outreach, and right now I'm kind of trying to build out my my kind of cold audience outreach capability. I've done it in the past, but in the last few months I haven't been utilizing it basically at all. So I want to build it up as it's something that has the potential to deliver the results the fastest, or where you kind of have the quickest quickest reward loop compared to YouTube, for instance. And I don't believe that it needs to be a negative experience, right? So the idea is in the cold emails to have the copy, the, the body of the email, and kind of selling the people or trying to convert them to meeting, really. Usually you're not selling the people right away, but I also want to give them some value, right? And the best thing on kind of short term scale is doing something that's hyper personal. And I've done that, for instance, creating a personalized asset, and then creating a loom for the people or person that you're outreaching to, and that tends to work quite well. But if you want to send 1,000 emails a day, that's not really viable. And at some point you gotta start thinking about how to focus on things that bring you the most ROI. So that's why cold email or cold outreach in general is very high ROI, because you can scale it, but at the same time it's omnipresent. So the quality really needs to be up there so people even react to that. And that's where the lead magnet comes in. So basically the main email and the lead magnet will be as a link or some call to action in the email. So even the people who wouldn't book a meeting right away will at least, look through the lead magnet and hopefully get a bit warmer as a lead. And the lead magnet, I believe that, and this is to be honest, just from kind of the things that I'm hearing around, because for the agency I wasn't doing, many lead magnets yet, but it should be something that's very high value and something that people would be willing to pay for, even if they wouldn't get it for free. And that's what I try to build out with this. It will basically, when I finish it, and it will probably take quite a lot of time, but I think it will be somewhere around 150 to 200 pages of your presentation. Now, obviously, in the beginning, there will be some basic information about me, some of the results and what I do, really. But then what will be the other part of the lead magnet is obviously some case studies that's still relating to what I do. But the most important part, I believe, is this part, which is basically a whole course about how to automate your business. And today, apart from making the initial kind of introduction, I was also able to map out really what I want to do. And I want to create basically a full-on course on how to implement automations in your business. And hopefully the outcome or the goal will be to provide the readers so much value that they will split into two categories, right? First category is people who don't have money yet to invest with me and my agency, so they will just do it on their own, and that's absolutely fine. They will have all the information that they need in the lead magnet. I actually don't want to do any gatekeeping or anything like that. I want to give all of it out. And for now, those people will just be using the information for free. That's fine. Maybe in the future it will help them grow their business, and then at some point I will be the first person they turn to, because they already have a lot of trust in me. Now, the second group of the people, and that's really the people that I'm targeting, because as you also see in here, for the clients that I work with, kind of good benchmark is at least 180 or 200,000 a year in revenue, right? So they have money to invest with me. And these kind of businesses or business owners, a lot of the time they're busy and they don't really have the time to learn everything on their own and implement it in their business. So for them, this whole case study, this whole kind of guide or course will serve as basically a big case study or showcase of my capabilities. So they look through it, they see what it can do for you, how it can help their business, and be like, yeah, this is really cool. And David seems like he knows what he's talking about, and I have trust in him, and I want to work with him, and I want him to implement this for me because I don't want to do it on my own. So yeah, that's basically the idea behind this and how I'm trying to utilize the lead magnet. Obviously, I'm doing automation, so I will go through the whole process from really go mapping out the company's processes, what they're doing, what is working, what is not working, what to optimize, what to automate, and then the whole kind of jazz when it comes to the automation. So choosing the platform, setting up the tools, learning the basic concepts of the platform, of the inner workings of the automations, building scenario, then doing more advanced scenarios, etc. And yeah, that's basically the plan. Tomorrow the plan is to continue with this, and then I guess the last thing that is on my mind is kind of limiting the amount of work I'm doing. And this is very counterintuitive, and I have no clue if it's going to work. But if I think about the, places where I grew the most when it comes to kind of life setup and business, it was always periods of life where I had some free time, and I wouldn't focus on operational stuff that much, and I would just spend a lot of time building stuff and coming up with better ideas and better processes and streamlining things inside of that business. And it was usually very short burst of time, usually 2-3 months at a time. Some people could call it monk mode or something like that, but I don't personally call it that. For me, it was just periods of time when I was focusing on the non-operational stuff, when I was focusing on growing the business and kind of the things that move the needle the most. And when you're doing these things that are very high level, very deep work focused things, you can't really do them for 10 hours a day. And it's not like, I don't know, calling the leads that you can do 8 hours a day, and it may be annoying, but it doesn't really exhaust you mentally. This stuff, it exhausts you mentally, and at the same time there is a large value, I believe, in just having a free time to reflect and see what you're doing, where you're going, what can you improve. So probably the thing, and I'm in this period of the year right now because the educational agency, which is still my main business, even though Leadbind is a functional business now as well. The educational agency has the kind of, so in the educational business, right, you have the peak season from approximately end of August, September until approximately February, maybe March. And that's where all the applications are, that's where all the processing is. And then kind of from March until August, it's kind of the off season. So I don't have that much work that needs to be done when it comes to that business. And that's why I want to focus on growing Leadbind and growing it with hopefully doing things that will have large impact. And for that, I believe it may be helpful. And as I'm saying, I believe, because in 1 week, 2 weeks, I will reflect on that and see if it made sense or not. But I believe it will be helpful to just limit my work for 6 hours a day. Maybe I would say from that 4 hours should be dedicated to the deep work that I'm doing. And what did I do right now? Let me just write it down, right? Doc.new. So I believe maybe 6 hours a day. From that, 4 hours focused on highest leverage deep work, and then 2 hours focused on operational tasks. I think right now this should be the goal, and after that I should do no work. And the reason to do no work is for my brain to kind of have place to rest and really give me ideas that I can implement. And in that time, obviously now it's starting to be nice weather outside, at least where I am located, so enjoy some sun, get some energy. I'm also trying to focus on health and kind of working out now, but also things like reading. As I mentioned, I'm reading a book which is called The Goal. This book, which is a great book so far. I mentioned it one of the first updates that I did maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and at that point in time I was just starting to read it. I was maybe at page 20. Right now I'm more than half of the book in, and it's great. Like, honestly, it's a book that focuses on theory of constraints and kind of finding out what is the most important thing that you need to focus on. And even though it's business book and kind of didactic book, meaning a book that's supposed to teach you something or that's used as a instructional book, I believe it's also used in a lot of the business schools as a course book. It reads really well, and I'm both reading it and listening to it on Audible. And on Audible, the narrating is great. The book itself, it's written as a kind of novel, as a story, and as a reader you're supposed to get the insights out of it on your own, and the narrating on Audible just takes it to another level. It really has a lot of depth and a lot of kind of color. It's very interesting, and a lot of emotions, and yeah, it's great. I greatly recommend it, and especially using the Audible for that as well. So yeah, that's a wrap for today. If you have any questions, let me know. And right now I'm just, it's 10 p.m, so I'm just going to figure out what are the tasks that I will spend the 4 hours of focus work